So now I think that, yes, we are on time. I would like to introduce you to our second GNF presentation of this morning, which will be dedicated to the recently created Moon Village Association and to its contribution to the settlement of the moon. And I would like that you help me to welcome on stage Dr. Giuseppe Reibaldi, President of the Moon Village Association. And I would like also to call Dr. Oleg Ventskovsky, Promotion Manager of the Association. Bonjour. I give you the floor.
Okay, merci. Okay, so good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So I think this is very nice to be invited here to give this opportunity to present this new NGO. In fact, the presentation links very well with what we are trying to do, because this is, of course, looking towards the heart and towards application, and we are trying to do a little bit beyond with this organization. So we need first the video. So, and we also have a video, and I hope you will like it. And after that, I will tell you a little bit more if you have not fallen asleep. I think what we have tried to give you is an overview, and now I'd like to go a little bit more in detail to explain what the hell is this organization. I'd like to say, first of all, that the intention, or at least the people which has created, is not to have another organization like many others, because there is already enough, and by the IAF is an example, excellent example of network. So we have been created because we felt there was a need to do that, and we're trying to explain you why. And I hope that you can share our possibility. Well, I would like to start first with something which is maybe not very clear in the mind of people, at least what it is for our association, the Moon Village. There has been many definitions in the last years and many ways to interpret, but as any system, we want to be sure that we are on the same page. And our page is there. Our page is that the Moon Village, in our definition, is not a specific program. It is an assemble of effort worldwide, and is a partnership between government, private, general public, aiming to explore and use the moon resources for the settlement in a sustainable manner. So this, the Moon Village, it is not a specific project. We call it, it's not an ISS on the moon. I worked 15 years on the ISS. It's an excellent program. But it is not only what we are looking here. We are looking much beyond. And definitely, it's not a village itself, but it is certainly is not a single science mission. I don't know why these things came up, but escape. Right, okay, thank you. All right, so, and it's not a single facility. Now, the importance of the definition is linked to the fact that we are now taking the moon for this approach. But in the future, as this approach hopefully is going to work for other destinations like Mars. So I think we need to create real partnership. In the past, space agency have been playing the only role for the exploration. We know that other players can play and will play a role. And we will see also developing countries. That's why our presentation links extremely well what Professor Battiston has made earlier. Now, therefore, what is it, having defined what is the Moon Village, what the Moon Village Association is supposed to do? Well, this is our image branding, so to speak, and you can see that you don't see a moon base. Why you don't see a moon base? Because it is not a moon base. It is when you go from the top left to the bottom right, you see an increasing level of complexity of the mission, which starts from the mission which are supposed to have been landing on the moon this year, but they will next year. So we have a number of industry, Team Indus, as well as iSpace here in the floor, as well as a number of other projects. You will see also Cislunar station orbiting, as well as a number of other infrastructure. So in a nutshell, the organization, which is very recent, it was created in June 2017, and it has been registered in Vienna in November. So we are really few months old, is really trying to aim to bring together a number of organizations and a number of programs, including developing countries. This is not going to be any longer people providing physical hardware. We are looking also for their capability, for their skill. And so that's why it's so important also the work which people are doing in Africa. And we will see that we also are trying to establish a network which ought to be connected with existing network, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. The main goal of the organization is do not invent anything new, to try to be useful to space agency, industry, as well as private, as well as public, because the public is very often left out of all these programs, and we don't want anybody to be left out. You see on the bottom our website. I hope you will enjoy the website. I think it's a brand new website, and we're looking forward also to get your comment. Now, what is the mission statement of the association? It's very simple in a way, but everything which is simple is not always easy to implement. So the main message is we want simply, if I can say so, create a forum for the development of the Moon Village in the way I have described, but with those stakeholders, industry, government, space agency, international organization, NGO, and public at large. And as you will see later, these do not have to be only space. We are used to talk only to space people, and of course this conference and the participant, 98%, probably 8%, they come from space, which is of course very good. So we need to create a base, but the goal of the organization is to go beyond the space, because this is a step for all humanity. And nobody needs to be left out, and nobody should be left out, including particularly developing countries. So what we're trying to do is indeed to create a cycle of also investment, because you will see later on from my colleague, which is a promotion manager from the organization, how we are trying to help industry. And our slogan, we try to help. We don't want to duplicate, we want simply to federate. That's why we have so similar objective to IAF, and of course I'm pleased to say that hopefully soon we will become a full member of IAF. So I think we are simply an organization focused on the moon, and you need to focus to maximize effort and get people excited for what is our next goal. So what you see down here is with just an indication of the present situation. We are a few months old, we have 34 countries, and one of the features of the organization, which we call it association on purpose, is made of individuals. So all of you, after left this presentation, can go and register themselves. So we hope to see a lot of you as a new member, but of course institutional member as well as space agency. And we have a lot of discussion also with space agency in which way they will be able to contribute. And I'm pleased to say that yesterday we had the first advisory council meeting, in his head office, and we had a good participation. Really was very much pleased that we got a lot also support from Space Agency, from JAXA, from ESA, and a few other organizations that were. But we hope that this is only the beginning. So what you see down there is some of the institutional members. Hopefully some more that we'll see, and you can see there already a blend. You see organizations which are fairly small, like Team Indus, as well as iSpace, which, as you know, are aiming for the moon very recently, as well as very large organizations like GNF, as well as iSpace. Now, what are the deliverables? What are we going to do? Well, we are going to create, and we are creating working groups. Now, these working groups are not supposed to be another academic exercise. I have been working within 25 years in International Academy of Astronautics, and we have been producing excellent cosmic study. Well, this is not the goal. The goal of this working group is really to create a short turnaround study activity on specific topic, like, as you can see, global architecture, business very important, cooperation mechanism, cultural impact. Again, this organization is true that is driven mainly by technical people, but the goal is also to address cultural challenges. Because when you go to the moon and you settle on the moon, you do have a totally different perspective. And so this will come with a lot of cultural impact. And we like, again, on a global scale, to try to address. So it's really a very, very challenging. Obviously, we want also to address outreach. And as you can see on the right-hand side, involving non-space industry and organization is a key. When we had the first workshop, we had again 90% or even more of space people. I have said at the end of last workshop that the next one, which will probably take place in the fall, most likely in the United States, our second global workshop, I want to see a number of non-space organizations, including possibly environmental organization, which for me it's a key question if we will be able to get environmental organization, environmental NGO on board, because they are very much penetrating the public. Other activity is the creation of the network. Again, IAF is an excellent example. So we have created so far what you see over there, some local network. And there again, I see a lot of synergy with what has been presented earlier. So they have already in place a network where we would like maybe to connect, because I think the moon excites a lot of people and is a very specific program. It's not broad, so very specific. So we need to tackle and to get what are the skills also coming from Africa, from Latin America. Not by any chance, Africa and South America, they are already there. We are mentioning only one that have started, but we would like really to get all the world, because it is meant to be a global network. And these people, which we have a meeting, by the way, today, we will meet and we see different events which have been organized already, and there have been a number of events in a couple of months. We have an event in Italy, we have an event in Latin America, also in May, and also one in Russia. So again, for a new organization, we have a lot of support, and we really hope that after this presentation, you will understand and you will try to help. It's not an easy job. And then a very important element is the moon market. And before leaving the floor to my colleague, which is going to talk about briefly about what is in for industry, I would like to invite you that between 9 and 10, we have a general meeting of the members. We have already quite a number of members in the audience, but you are welcome to come. It's going to be in SEN 1. It's going to be between 9 and 10, and we are going to go a bit more in detail explaining what are these working groups. An example, just to mention, of the working group is standard. At this point in time, there are space agencies which are, of course, discussing within ISAC about standard, but nobody is taking care to talk with other industry, like Team Indus, like, let's say, iSpace, like many others around the world, and they are also trying to go to the moon. But they still would like to communicate with each other. So at the moment, this is an example, nobody's doing it. So we are trying to do it. Now, so I think we do need, therefore, participation, and I can only invite the different people and parties to contact us. We have also a PR and communication manager, Emeline, in the second row. So, and we will please to give you more information to join. So with this, I would like to ask Oleg, if you can please come and present the rest. Please, please, Oleg.
Hello, everybody. Let me start by making a declaration of love. I love very much famous Latin phrases, proverbs, sayings, etc. And I think that one of them, which is viribus unitis, which could be translated as by joint forces, is very much relevant to what we are trying to do at the MVA. Indeed, as Giuseppe already mentioned, we are trying to unite all the real and potential stakeholders in the Moon endeavor, which is by definition a global endeavor. And this brings me to the first benefit which our institutional members will enjoy when they join the association. You are going to work in a very international expert environment, uniting both players from the space agencies, industry, private capital ventures, from even such actors very different in nature as architects, for example, or lawyers, or artists, or even theologians, as Giuseppe has already mentioned. Indeed, we are at the turning point when the rules of the game, so to say, are going to be created. And our association gives you a chance to participate in the making of these rules by taking part in the working group activities, by bringing fresh ideas, by bringing your vision on standards, etc., etc. You will be able to initiate studies of relevance to the Moon exploration at large, or any other interesting moves which could take a form of your organizations or your individual initiatives for the benefits of the whole enterprise. Definitely, by being inside this international community, you will be able to impact decision-making and to lobby interests of your respective organizations. The Moon market was already mentioned. Everybody understands that it's potentially a multi-billion affair. We call it Moon market. Our American colleague from FAA, George Neild, at the workshop at the round table on the Moon in Guadalajara, called it lunar marketplace and swap shop. Does not matter what's the name. Essentially is that we are creating a market of goods, services, and technologies, which will be available for everybody, and where everybody having respective products will be able to bring to the attention of other participants. So in order to speed up creation of this market, we initiated development of the so-called MBA database, which will compile all the available first at our member organizations and further on worldwide, again, products, technologies, and services for the purpose of the Moon exploration. And you, as members, will be able to access this database and to put your entries to this database. As a baseline for this database development, we suggest that it should contain information on brief description of your product, technology, or service, TRL, level of technology readiness, possible applications, both including spin-ins, spin-offs when it is appropriate, and also partnership you are looking for, be it investors or maybe payload suppliers for your prospective developments, etc., etc. I would like to add that we have envisaged also some operational, as we call them, advantages and benefits, such as, for example, you will be able to initiate and propose to host our annual MVA event. You have heard already from Giuseppe that our first event was an overwhelming success in November last year in Strasbourg. So the next one is going to take place next November. In 1 year, we expect another one, and every time we change location, and not only location, we change the continent, in fact. We are trying to do this. Then you will have quite palpable financial benefits, which is natural for members. You will have discounted rates for participation of your representatives in our events. You will have quite attractive offer for having an exhibition area during our events, etc., etc. Needless to say, you will be featured high in our promotional materials, be it website or leaflets or videos. And last but not least, we are going to create an annual award for the achievements in the moon exploration. We are still discussing what kind of the award it is going to be, whether it is purely institutional award or maybe also for individual members. But again, you will be eligible to nominate your representatives, your companies, for this award. That said, I would like to finalize my brief introduction to what are the benefits of the MVA membership, and I am available for your questions, either here from the podium or afterwards during these 2 days which are coming. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
This closes our morning session of the GNF. Thank you very much for joining us.